Hey,
Hey,
boss.
hey, how you
Sorry.
doing?
Okay. Sorry for the late notice. I found a book I was really into and kind of couldn't get it going.
Say that again. You're reading a book?
Yeah. I found a book I was really into and I kind of forgot about work, for lack of a better word.
Oh, nice. Hang on just one sec. I'm just gonna do this. There we go. One sec here. No, okay, there we go. Sorry, I've got two things going on in my face right now. I had another student whose session is at 8 and he scheduled it wrong. So he was trying to come in at the same time. Oh, this camera's doing it again. Hello. Still blurry. So weird.
It's focusing in on your hand. That's the problem.
So weird. Yeah, that usually is what fixes it. Is I bring it back here. Who knows?
Hmm.
Anyway, how are you? How was your weekend?
Well enough. Had some work. Did, pumped out some writing last minute. That's about it.
Nice.
Mostly just been reading.
Fair. Yeah, I've got a bunch of. I started reading this book. This is by the creator of Deadpool. It's called Suburban Dicks,
Hmm.
and it's I think it's like a detective thing kind of thing. So I got the reading in. Okay, so here's the deal. Your writing this week maybe was your best writing to date.
Seriously? I threw that together in a day and I thought I'm probably going to get screwed over this.
Nope. Very, very much the opposite. Hang on. Need to see here. Almost nothing to suggest, except at the end. And the only thing I'm going to suggest at the end is a not even a rearranging, but to stop at a certain point and let what happens at the last couple of pages let that be the start of your next chapter. And we'll get to that in a moment. So, and chapter 15, I reread the whole thing, so I haven't got to 16, but I'll definitely hit that for next week.
Mm-hmm.
This is
But
um,
most of 16 is basically just a recap of 16, but from Julius's perspective.
oh, great. Okay. I
Well,
love
not
this.
not like the whole thing, just like the ending part where where the lurkers are attacking.
Okay, because this has now become the reason it's one of my favorite chapters. First of all, I don't even know where to begin. I think your dialogue's fantastic. I think the way you build this has always been one of my favorite parts of anything you've ever written because you just pace it so beautifully. So the slow movement through the space, you just create this incredibly immersive visual thing. So I feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm with these people, and but all of that won't work if I don't buy the characters and what they're thinking and they're feeling, and that they're consistent with who you said they were in the past. So when I'm looking at Julius or Dick, or especially Ramona, I'm feeling in this chapter that they are continuing to be who you've made them. You know, leading up to this point, still funny, still rascally, or whatever their specific personality traits are, but you're deepening them each time. So whereas in the beginning, Julius just sounded like a kind of a wisecracking smartass who was great with a gun, and that was perfect at the beginning. The more we get into the story, the more I really like don't just like him, but care about him. And that's true for all of the characters. So right off the top, plus I love what you do with Ramona. My God, the whole battle they have with the lurkers now is brilliant. I just love what you've done there with it. So these changes at the beginning, the way they talk back and forth, for me personally, that removed any of the sort of I'm not sure if I buy Julius talking to her that way, given where they're at now in their relationship. I don't assume they're just perfectly getting along now. That would be boring if now they're just happily ever after. So they a bit of conflict, but this conflict feels so real. Little thing here when they finally arrived at the site where the researchers had been running, it's just a little more grammatically correct. It probably flow a little better. So minor.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. I love that you've given me, and you didn't need much. You didn't need a bunch of paragraphs. You've given me two nice, solid paragraphs. One that really, you did a couple of things here that I really love, actually. Not only did you give me this beautiful picture with a minimum of words, Julius felt at ease with their picturesque surroundings. The snow-capped mountains reach for the sky, their tips just touching the clouds. Brilliant. I love that. The trees surrounding them were coated in a layer of fresh fallen snow, which glistened like diamonds in the sunlight. Perfect. And then you give me this. For a moment, he considered just sitting down and enjoying the view, and that's such an incidental thing, but to me, it gave me two feelings. Yeah, I would too. And good Lord, we need that in a beautiful, like I love the pace of the action, the intensity of what's happening. Little moments like that are like a breath of air, and you're giving me that breath of air in a scene you're describing as full of fresh air, right? So it's a really cool cathartic thing you're doing for me. Plus, you're giving Julius an action that I completely buy. Yes, this guy probably needs this moment. And then you immediately shatter the moment with what comes next, and a great description of the state of the lab. And so there's this, this beautiful juxtaposition between beautiful calm. Maybe we'll have nope, no, the calm's not lasting long. Julius feeling a chill run down his spine. That alone was because I don't see this guy having very many moments when a chill runs down his spine. And so that was, I thought, really appropriate. And now Ramona is just really talking in a way that Ramona is no longer like you go back 2 or 3 chapters in your book when she was still like, hey, what's going on? I don't get it. And even here, even though there's a lot she doesn't know what's going on, and that's the way she should have been back there, by the way. The way she's talking here, what the hell happened here? I'm like, okay, she's growing some nuts. She's growing a thick skin. She's becoming more of a person. She's still sweet Ramona. Julius, I'm hoping it was those creatures on camera. The conversation goes on. I love the way you switch these lines. Yes, get the C4 and plant in the entrance and see if you can't find any other maps to the inside. If we fuck up, I'd rather have this contained. Understood, sir. Perfect. Boom. So your whole first section here is solid. Love it. Look at what you did in 2 pages, too. I can't even believe you covered that much ground in 2 pages. Moving on. This is great. I love this. The unknown. I love the way you said this. Heavyweight technically is a name for a person who fights, but the unknown felt like a heavyweight. And I like that you describe that, like you give you actually give mass to the unknown. Like the unknown is so scary or intimidating that it actually has weight to it, and that's a brilliant way to describe it. I'm saying this not to flatter you, but to say keep doing this. There's something that's so effective in your very brief descriptions like this. The unknown felt like a heavy weight. Like that's so simple and so brief, but it really says a lot. You do that throughout this. See what we got here down here. Oh, I'm still not sure what he means here when he says, and suddenly they were surrounded by dozens of lurkers. He says fucking illusion. Does he mean that he doesn't think they're there, or what does that mean?
No, it means he's complaining that they just got caught by an illusion. So the illusion comes down, all the lurkers are there.
Okay.
God damn it.
Interesting. Okay, there might be twice I've bumped on that. So there might be a different way to say it, or maybe not. You may just leave it there and see if anybody. I wasn't sure that meant that, so there might be a way to clarify that. I thought he was saying there's nothing really there. It's I think I can't see it for what, and it struck me as Julius wouldn't be that way, would he? But anyway, that I wasn't sure what it meant. This is good. Again, a couple times again is spelled wrong. That's okay. A little period at the end as well, but it showed no fear. Some of these are just strictly grammatical.
Yeah, I didn't have time to do grammar before I sent it off to you.
No worries. Now, here's what I loved because I made a note here of what I'd like to see happen, and then you gave it to me. So I put down here, the first lurker lunged at its claws, at her, comma, it should be, its claws shredding her arm as she failed to dodge back in time. That was the beginning of where I went, oh, what is he doing? Because I like it. The idea that you're showing, because she's been pretty much invincible anytime she's come up against anything. And if she just continues to be invincible forever and always, that's kind of boring. But the fact that this, like, she really gets put against the ropes here, and I dig that, because there's not only do you show her vulnerable, and we really I think we really as the readers need that at this point, also seriously ups the stakes. I say you could go even further, show her on the ropes a bit more, and not knowing what was coming. And then I'm like, oh my God, that's totally what you do here. And I started highlighting every feeling she has. Now, remember, you might recall, of course you do, because you wrote it. When she was in the hospital and she was like flipping beds and different things like that, you did a masterful job in describing her thought process. Not simply she felt this way, she felt that way, she felt this way, but actually sort of stream of consciousness, almost like, oh my God, did I just do that? And it was sort of like there was something about it that felt really stream of consciousness. I feel like you're almost there with this, and that would be my only one note, is to sort of heighten that. Because what I feel, I started writing it down. She winced as she fell on her, but she looked up. And this is awesome. Time seemed to stand still as the ghastly image seared itself into her brain, etching itself with unforgiving clarity. He was dead. He had died. The lurkers had killed him. The lurkers could kill her. Dude, that may be one of your best paragraphs ever. Everything about that paragraph to me is perfect. It's really poetic almost in the way you've written it, but it's also like kind of terrifying and surreal, and like, I gotta read it again. Time seemed to stand still as the ghastly image seared itself into her brain, etching itself with unforgiving clarity. He was dead, period. He had died. I love the way you distinct that he was dead. Wait, and it's almost like I can hear this going through her head. He's dead. Wait a minute. He died. Wait a minute. He can be killed. That means maybe I can be killed. And I love that way you do that chain sort of reaction there. Brilliant writing. And I wouldn't even mind at that point, even before her, I wouldn't even mind hearing, and then you sort of do it here. It's like at first, absolutely, the cycle would be what you've got. She's, oh my God, you mean I can be affected this way? Wow. Fear, yes. Fascination, oh my goodness, and then new resolve, which is sort of the pattern you have here. And I like, and I was even wondering, is she gonna like tap into anything with the graveyard? I don't even know if you need to, but then everywhere she looked, she saw wolves getting attacked. Then I started just highlighting her feelings, right? Numbness, anger, profound sense of helplessness, rage, and then with a primal scream, and then seeing her like, so I wouldn't even mind. I think what you have is fine. Don't change a thing if you don't want to.
I
But
think
I
I
was
need to make her a
almost,
little more injured. Like,
yeah, yeah. Show her like
she needs to take a few more hits.
I think so, and like she's really, depending on if you want to go there, but like she's really like, oh my God, am I like, I was almost waiting for her to go like, not merely the lurkers could kill her, but they bring her pretty close to the edge of the cliff inside, and she's like, oh my God, she could feel sort of the something leave her, and then the mana comes back, or however you do that, but sort of like there's sort of a spiritual magical transfusion of some kind that happens, but it's all self-generated. But it's like Neo in the Matrix. It's all, she rises or falls based on her belief in herself. You can have all the powers in the world and whatever else,
So
but if
instead of
you're not,
slashing her arm, maybe slash her stomach, something a little more.
like, have something come out of her. Like I wouldn't be afraid, because if she's who she is, you could do all kinds of things to her you couldn't do to me, and she'll bounce back. So I wouldn't be afraid to get into the gore or the like, oh my God, is this the end of Ramona? Like, that's what I would love to have, is like
Uh,
for a moment feel
yeah,
like it
people
could
aren't
happen.
that durable in this.
Okay.
Yeah,
Whatever the limits of her are for you.
she can
Um,
she can get stabbed. I don't mind her having some healing. I was already planning on giving her some healing abilities later on, but we can do that earlier.
See,
Um,
that's the new reveal in this to me. Then what's new and different about this particular, conflict with her is that, okay, I've seen her been really strong before. I've seen her rip a person apart before. He says, so what's new about this? What's new about this is that there is a vulnerability there, and when she faces it, and you're giving me so much more than that. Even you're giving me also how she responds to it emotionally, whether she's tempted to give up hope, and her ability to bounce back. However you want to play that, I just realized finally is there. This is, but it's so good. The sickening crunch, the lurker's head explodes. Like, oh, you got another sickening crunch, so you just want to be careful for that. Sickening crunch, sickening crunch. So, there's again. So I'm just catching these while we go. So let's go. Yeah, this was just so good. It was exhilarating. I think exhilarating. Yeah, that's right. You can feel her body pulsing with energy. Yeah, this was the like. This is what I loved. Is like exhilarating. Like, you can see, you've got such a gorgeous arc. You've got all of the range, the spectrum of emotion, from fear to like what's happening to, wait a minute. Like, I almost wanted her to get a little, not simply heal and bounce back, but maybe do something kind of clever and creative, boom, as well. But the bottom line is, whatever she does, she is this is yet another stage in Ramona becoming aware of what she's capable of. So every time she seems to get into a head-to-head, she hits a new level of self-awareness of her powers, and therefore her ability to use and control her powers, even if there's still a ton to learn. And that evolution of hers is fantastic.
Mhm.
With a savage roar, she charges superhuman strength. Now here's the suggestion I'm going to make, because this still goes for another 2 pages after the point I was hoping you'd end, but that's just me. So don't, I'm not assuming I'm the, what I was hoping with each blow she struck, she felt more alive, more powerful, more in control of her destiny. And I thought this would be kind of cool if you did something like this. Like nothing could stop her. Julius watched her, and for the first time, he felt something he never felt before with Ramona: fear. Now, I'm not saying that's how you want to end,
No,
but the
not even
idea,
close.
but that maybe it's pride, maybe it's hope, maybe it's the exact opposite of
Also,
fear.
remember, Julius is full on immortal, so Ramona
Yeah,
is not killing him even at her best.
and remember, this chapter started with him saying, huh, okay, you can do these things, oh well, okay, but you still don't seem to be good in anything else. Now, every publisher is going to read this chapter and say, okay, this was one of the chapters that started with Julius expressing a lack of complete faith in her. He had some faith, but not complete and total faith. And at the end, she proves yet again what she's capable of. So the idea that he would watch this, and rather than him doing the "what the hell are you doing?" um, and giving her shit for it, I thought, let her have this moment and end the chapter with him looking at her going, and then give her shit at the beginning of the next chapter would be my suggestion, because um, that's something that I think sometimes you've done with chapters, is you get to this amazing dramatic point, and every publisher would probably say there and there, and then you have another 1 or 2 pages of people talking. I'm like, I can see the balloon going, kind of thing like that, and kind of losing the air. So
The one
that would
point is
be,
that in the next chapter, we basically just recap basically these 2 pages. Julius runs after Ramona, watching her kick ass, and then he catches her and pulls her back because I'm
mm-hmm.
on I'm on Zoom. Yeah. So he goes after her because Ramona's now charging into the lurker pack. She's freaking out because she thinks they're gonna die.
Mm-hmm.
But Julius knows the werewolves are regenerating from the attacks, so he's now chasing after her as she's running into the crowd, and he has to save her butt because she's overextending herself.
Then my suggestion would be, you've done such a beautiful job of just emphasizing and putting a spotlight on this moment. Let it be all Ramona, but have Julius react to her and go like, oh my God, she's doing it. And then it's like, oh shit, she's about to do it. Like, and you can end with a great hook that way where he's like, oh, and we end with him chasing after her. But I would give him a moment to stop, just like you gave him that moment at the beginning where it's like he just paused and wanted to look at the beautiful scenery. And it was so great, the great sort of literary symmetry, if you consider at least the possibility in this moment, have him be looking at her not at all the same as he was when he was looking at the mountaintops, but it's the same moment. We're seeing him be more reflective, and he's looking at her going, oh my God. But ending, I love that ending with a sense of jeopardy, ending with a sense of not fear, but ending with a sense of he's obviously about to start giving her shit. And my suggestion would be, he wants to, but she's so powerful in this moment that he doesn't exactly know how to approach her, or whatever you want to do there with the story. But I would consider leaving it with her, giving her that moment, and letting the chapter end that, somewhere around there. That's totally up to you. And uh, the buildup is just so good in this whole year. You were at your best when you're in the throes of an action sequence, while simultaneously taking us inside the mind of the
Really? I
main
thought my
character
action
who's the
sequences
center of it.
sucked.
I don't think so. Well, certainly not these ones. No, they may need work, and every action writer does every scene so far. Whatever tweaking can be done, certainly in the last couple of chapters, has been pretty strong. If there's a major thing, like there's a major directional change that's required, like oh no, like my comment last week was, well, this just looks like a cakewalk for these guys. The lurkers have no chance. I'm not really ever worried for them, so it's kind of boring in that regard, which is no reflection on you as a writer. There just didn't appear to be any stakes. So you were like, and you were so good in responding to that. It wasn't anything wrong with your writing. There was just something internal that needed to be turned on, and you've turned it on here. And it's like, whoa! Now you got the combination of good action description plus real, legitimate, dramatic stakes. And if you end this with he started this whole thing starts with Julius going, well, you're good at some stuff, but I don't know if I can, if you can really take care of yourself if you need to, kind of thing. And then this lurker thing happens, which isn't primarily about showing us what Ramona's capable of. It's primarily showing us, the scary thing they're walking into as they're trying to get to the research station and answer stuff. But it's also giving us that beautiful character build for Ramona, relationship build for Ramona and Julius. You're doing three things at once: moving the story forward, moving Ramona's character forward, removing the relationship. Moving the relationship between the two of them forward. If you can do all of those three successfully in a given chapter, which every writer should strive to, it's hard to ask for more than that. And you made it entertaining, and you made it emotionally engaging. So nothing but praise to heap on you this week, dude.
Okay, so yeah, not sure if I'm gonna change the last bit still, because like on the one hand I get what you're saying, on the other hand I kind of wanted to end it with the Al Noon coming up and attacking them. So
sure, no, if you want to end on this, the great thing is, even if you keep it exactly where you are, you still end with this beautiful hook, so you kind of can't lose.
Should I make a change to Julius's perspective and then keep that going, because I've got most of that written on the.
That I like, because you've put us right inside Ramona's head for several pages, and I love that you did that. And then switching to him observing her and whatever he thinks of what he's seeing as he's doing this kind of thing and responding to her accordingly, that's cool. So yes, if you could switch over to Julius and give us sort of a sense of what's going on in his head, and then what he does next. This is great for you as a writer too, Hayden, because this is a huge, again, quantum leap forward in your evolution as a writer. You're more and more, you're giving evidence that you get what you need to be doing in these scenes. In your response to my feedback, not that, I have to be careful that I don't say, oh, I love your writing this week because you did everything I said you should do, right? Who knows if I'm right? But the fact that you didn't just make a few cosmetic switches, but you got into it and you made such a huge structural change.
I tried to make cosmetic switches. It didn't work. Everything had to be pulled out.
Well, you got a bit of both. So, I mean, I'm just thrilled and just incredibly proud of your writing this week. This was great.
Maybe I should have Ramona attack Julius. All superhero movies have that when the heroes fight. So how's that as well?
Have Julius attack Ramona?
No, the other way around. I have Julius come to save Ramona, but in her, I don't know, panic attack, berserker rage, whatever, she hits him.
That would be interesting. I could get into that. Yeah, if it's sort of like, yeah, she's in the zone and she accidentally especially if he feels it in a way that nobody can, like, he may be immortal and all of that, that's great and everything like that, but if he feels it in a way he wouldn't normally feel it, and that increases a sense of, oh shit, because what I love is that you're kind of creating this unknown nuclear bomb with Ramona. That's what's interesting to me about her, is I'm discovering along with her what she's capable of. And apparently so is Julius. She's kind of an unknown quantity. They thought they understood what, she was bit by this kind of a creature, so this is what should happen to her. But I feel like every time she does something, everybody, including Julius, and certainly she herself, are going like, oh, that's new. And that's cool. That is really cool, because that's you want to talk about the unknown that sits like a heavy weight. It's the unknown of her. I mean, I like her. I love her. I hope I keep getting to like her, and that she doesn't turn into something that can't be controlled, Jean Grey style, right? Like, we'll see. Wicked, man. You're wicked. That was just really fun to read.
Okay.
And I'll hit 16. I'm assuming we want to do 16. Do you want to give me a new draft of it, or can I read this one for next week?
I think you can read it right now if you want it. I'll probably send you a new draft of 15, since we're making a couple changes there.
Okay.
But yeah, you can basically read 16 now, because most of it's just going to be copy and pasting what I have already and adding it to the bottom of it.
Okay, that sounds really, really good. Yeah. Let's make sure I got the right notes here. What's it doing? Why is it being a knob? Ramona the Barbarian. I forgot that was even the chapter's name. Ramona the Barbarian. That's too cool.
Yeah, I felt that was just a nice little thing to add in. Little Conan reference.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. No, great stuff, man. All right. Well, have a good week, and I'll dig into chapter 16 for next week.
Yeah, I'll send you a revitalized version of chapter 15. We'll be taking everything past her destiny and updating it with some Julius's stuff.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah. We'll probably end at the same point when the lurker, mine, Al Noon attacks. So not a big change, but a change.
Okay.
Okay, see you next week.
Okay, sounds good. Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.